I think maybe my wife cheated on me when we were dating. 4 years ago, my life took a turn that would forever leave me questioning the foundation of my relationship. I was 26 then, young and hopeful, brimming with dreams of a future with my girlfriend, Emma. Emma was everything I had ever wanted in a partner: intelligent, compassionate, and beautiful. We had been dating for about a year, and though we lived an hour apart, we made the effort to see each other every weekend. Our relationship felt strong, built on mutual respect and understanding, or so I thought. It was a Friday morning, and I was buried in schoolwork, trying to finish an assignment that was due the following week. I called Emma, asking if she could leave work early to come see me sooner. I missed her, and the thought of spending more time together was a welcome distraction from my studies. She responded with a regretful tone, saying she really had to work. I understood. She had a demanding job, and I didn't want to seem like a controlling boyfriend. So, I let it go, thinking we'd still have the evening and the weekend together. The day dragged on, and as the evening approached, I received a call from Emma. I could hear the chatter of her coworkers in the background. She sounded anxious, almost hesitant. "Hey, I'm trying to leave work early," she said. "I want to go have drinks with my ex-boyfriend. Is that okay with you?" Her words hit me like a punch to the gut. Her ex-boyfriend, the one who had caused her so much pain. The one she had spent the past year trying to get closure from. It hurt that she was willing to leave work early to see him but not to come over to my place. My mind raced with a million thoughts, but I didn't want to come off as possessive. So, I swallowed my pride and told her it was okay. Emma and her ex had a complicated history. Their relationship had been tumultuous, to say the least, filled with heartbreak and unresolved issues. She had spent many nights confiding in me, trying to make sense of what had happened between them. As much as it pained me, I wanted to support her journey to find closure. I convinced myself that this was just another step in that process. An hour or so went by, and my phone rang again. It was Emma. She sounded more relaxed now, probably a few drinks in. "Hey, do you mind if I go over to his place? We've been talking, and I think it would be good for us to continue the conversation in a more private setting." Alarm bells rang in my head. This was crossing a line. I tried to stay calm, though. "It's fine," I said, "as long as you don't go inside his house," she agreed, and we hung up. My stomach churned with anxiety, but I tried to focus on my schoolwork, telling myself that she would respect the boundary I had set. 30 minutes later, I couldn't take it anymore. I called her to see if she was still planning to come over. She answered, and I could immediately tell she was inside his house. The noise, the echo, everything pointed to it. She confirmed my suspicion without a hint of remorse. "Yeah, I'm inside. We needed to talk, and it's more comfortable here." I felt a wave of betrayal wash over me. She had crossed the boundary I had set, and it hurt more than I could express. I don't remember the exact conversation that followed. It was 4 years ago now, and my memory of that night is hazy. But I know I didn't react as strongly as I probably should have. Maybe I was in shock, maybe I was trying to play it cool, or maybe I was afraid that if I accused her of something she hadn't done, it would push her into actually doing it. Fast forward to the present, and Emma and I are married with a child. On the surface, our life seems perfect, but the memory of that night still haunts me. I find myself wondering if she cheated on me, if that night in his house was more than just a conversation. The doubt gnaws at me, eating away at my peace of mind. I know it might sound absurd to bring up something that happened 4 years ago, especially now that we're married with a child. But I can't shake the feeling that there's a shadow over our relationship, a question mark that needs to be erased. I've thought about investigating, trying to find out the truth. But what if I find something I can't unsee? And even if I don't, would I be able to believe her if she said nothing happened? Maybe the best course of action is to talk to her about it, to lay my doubts on the table and see how she reacts. But there's a part of me that's terrified of what that conversation might lead to. What if it opens old wounds? What if it creates a rift that we can't mend? And then there's our child to think about. Is it worth risking our family's stability over something that may or may not have happened? I've also considered marriage counseling. It could help us address the underlying issues, the trust and communication problems that this incident has highlighted. A neutral third party might provide the perspective we need to navigate this delicate situation, but I'm not sure if Emma would agree to it, or if it would even solve the problem. As I sit here, typing out my thoughts, I realize that there's no easy answer. The uncertainty is suffocating, and I need to find a way to breathe again. Whether that means confronting Emma, seeking counseling, or learning to live with the doubt, I don't know. But I do know that I can't keep carrying this weight alone. Something has to change, for the sake of our marriage and for my own sanity. Emma had always been honest about her past, the mistakes she had made, the pain she had endured. We had spent countless nights talking about our dreams, our fears, our future together. I thought we were building something unbreakable, a love that could withstand any storm. But now, this doubt threatened to unravel everything we had worked for. I remember the first time Emma talked to me about her ex. We were lying on my couch, the room bathed in the soft glow of the setting sun. She looked so vulnerable, her eyes brimming with tears as she recounted the hurtful things he had done, the way he had shattered her trust. I held her close, promising her that I would never hurt her like that. I meant every word. But now, I wondered if I had been naive, if I had underestimated the lingering hold her past had on her. Our weekends together had always been a sanctuary, a break from the stresses of our separate lives. We would cook together, binge-watch our favorite shows, and talk late into the night about everything and nothing. But that weekend 4 years ago, when she chose to see her ex instead of coming to me, it felt like a betrayal. I tried to rationalize it, telling myself that she needed closure, that it was a part of her healing process. But the hurt lingered, a silent wound that refused to heal. As the years passed, I tried to bury my doubts, focusing on the present and the future we were building. Our wedding day was beautiful, a testament to our love and commitment. I looked into her eyes, vowing to be her partner, her confidant, her protector. She looked back at me with such love and trust that it made my heart ache. I pushed the memory of that night with her ex further down, convincing myself that it was in the past, that it didn't matter anymore. But now, with our child in the picture, the stakes were higher. I couldn't afford to let this doubt fester, to let it poison our family. I needed to know the truth, to find a way to move forward. But how? How do you bring up something so delicate, so potentially explosive, without causing irreparable damage? I played out various scenarios in my mind, imagining how the conversation might go. I saw her getting defensive, accusing me of not trusting her. I saw her breaking down, confessing to something I wasn't sure I could handle. I saw her reassuring me, telling me that nothing happened, that it was all in my head. But would I believe her? Could I? I thought about hiring a private investigator, someone who could dig into her past and find out what really happened that night. But the idea felt wrong, invasive. If I couldn't trust her enough to ask her directly, what kind of marriage did we really have? My thoughts were a tangled mess, each one leading to more questions, more uncertainties. I found myself losing sleep, staring at the ceiling in the dark, wondering if I was overreacting, if I was letting my insecurities get the best of me. But then, the memory of her voice, calm and unapologetic, telling me she was inside his house, would replay in my mind, and the doubt would surge back, stronger than ever. Emma had always been my rock, the person I turned to when life got tough. But now, I felt like I was standing on shifting sands, unsure of my footing. I needed to talk to her, to lay everything out in the open. But the fear of what I might find out paralyzed me. As the days turned into weeks, I could feel the tension building. I tried to act normal, to be the loving husband and father I wanted to be, but inside, I was a mess. Every time Emma smiled at me, every time she held our child, I felt a pang of guilt for doubting her, for letting this shadow hang over us. I decided that I needed to talk to someone, to get an outside perspective. I reached out to my best friend, Mark, someone who had known me for years and who I trusted completely. We met up for coffee, and after some small talk, I laid it all out, every detail of that night and the doubts that had been plaguing me since. Mark listened patiently, his brow furrowed in concern. When I finished, he took a deep breath. "Man, that's tough. I can't imagine what you're going through. But I think you need to talk to Emma. Keeping this bottled up isn't doing you any good. Maybe she'd be able to put your mind at ease. His words made sense, but the fear still lingered. I knew he was right, though. I couldn't keep living in this limbo, letting my doubts eat away at me. I needed to find the courage to have that conversation, to trust that our love was strong enough to handle the truth. That night, after we had put our child to bed, I sat down with Emma. My heart was pounding in my chest, my palms slick with sweat. She looked at me, her eyes filled with concern. "What's wrong?" she asked, her voice soft and soothing. I took a deep breath, trying to steady myself. "Emma, I need to talk to you about something. It's been bothering me for a long time, and I can't keep it to myself anymore." She nodded, waiting for me to continue. I could see the worrying in her eyes, and it broke my heart. "Do you remember that night 4 years ago, when you went to see your ex, when you went inside his house?" Her face fell, a shadow passing over her features. "Yes, I remember," she said quietly. "I've been carrying this doubt ever since," I continued. "I need to know the truth. Did anything happen between you two that night?" Emma looked down, her hands clasped tightly in her lap. The silence stretched on, each second feeling like an eternity. Finally, she looked up, her eyes meeting mine. "Nothing happened," she said firmly. "We talked, we cried, but nothing physical happened. I know I broke the boundary you set, and I'm sorry for that. I was trying to get closure, and I made a mistake, but I never cheated on you. I love you, and I would never do anything to hurt you." Her words washed over me, a mixture of relief and lingering doubt. I wanted to believe her, but the wound was still raw. "Why didn't you tell me this sooner?" I asked, my voice breaking. "I didn't realize how much it had affected you," she said, tears filling her eyes. "I thought we had moved past it. I'm so sorry, I should have talked to you about it. I never wanted to hurt you." In that moment, I realized that holding on to this doubt had done more damage than the incident itself. Emma's sincerity, her remorse, it all felt genuine. Maybe it was time to let go, to trust her, to move forward together. We spent the rest of the night talking, laying everything out in the open. It wasn't easy, but it was necessary. For the first time in years, I felt a weight lifting off my shoulders. We decided to seek marriage counseling, to work on our communication and trust, to rebuild the foundation of our relationship. As we embarked on this new chapter, I realized that love isn't about never doubting or never making mistakes. It's about facing those doubts, learning from those mistakes, and growing stronger together. Emma and I still have a long way to go, but for the first time in a long time, I feel hopeful. I believe in our love, and I believe in us.